All right, it's time to take a look at some of the retro and vintage items that I sold online this week. Right when I started, an airplane started going by. The first one is, of course, the first one has to be up there on the top shelf. I sold a record. It is a copy of Richard Scarry's What Do People Do All Day, narrated by Carol Channing. So this whole thing it's a bunch of different short stories right there. And Carol Channing does the voiceover on it. It's a very interesting album. She does voices, and she's already got a unique voice as it is. So then she starts doing characters, and it's just this woman doing baby talk. It's a bizarre album. It's pretty cool. Then I have a game that is a version of Parcheesi from 1946. The box is in rough shape, but the inside is actually in really good shape. So there's Parcheesi. That's the cover. It's a super plain box for 1946, I guess. So there's the board. There's the original how to play instructions, the game pieces, the little dice tubes that kind of look like toilet paper tubes, and of course the board itself. And then this really cool cardboard children's book. So cardboard in the sense that the pages are made of cardboard, but this one's from the 50s, and it's called Counting Rhymes, and it was illustrated by Art Sedan. E before I before E, so it's E before I. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but his artwork I've run across a couple of times, and I love it. That stuff right there, that's the artwork that he does is super cool. And this is what I mean by it's a cardboard book. It's just the pages are made out of cardboard, pretty self-explanatory. And it's a bunch of different poems, but teaching how to count. But the illustrations are really what did it for me. That's why I picked it up. I love this guy's artwork. And then from 1981, I have this Garfield plush right here. It's the one where it's one of the older versions. It's got the eyes, and that's right there. He's wearing a green robe for some reason. I don't know why, but he's got a green robe on. Usually they will have something that goes like, I hate Mondays or something on it. But no, he's just in a green robe, hanging out, just got done with a bath, maybe just got up, don't know. In a previous What I Got video where we go hunting for the stuff here that's on the shelves, at an estate sale, there was a Ronald McDonald that somebody left behind, and the people just told me to take it. So I did. It was even in rough shape, but somebody bought it. It's supposed to have a whistle, and you see the mouth there? You're supposed to put the whistle in it, and when you squeeze them, it's supposed to blow out and make the whistle go. That's what's supposed to be on the string here, but it's not there. Plus, oops, he's also missing a hand. All of that I said, but it sold pretty quickly. Although it's still pretty neat. I mean, maybe they just want something, like there's some people who just like having weird stuff. I mean, that's why I have it. That's why I have a lot of this stuff. So who knows? And also from 1984, the game of Battleship. So I've got this here. It's, of course, the classic game of Battleship where you sit there and guess B3. It's kind of like bingo meets Connect 4. So it's like B12, you sank my battleship. Pretty sneaky, sis. Right? I'm mixing the two commercials. And then another book that I sold that also has really good artwork. Santa's Toy Shop. Now, I don't know the date on this, but I want to say it's the 70s. The original was made in the 1940s, the late 1940s, like 1947. And you can tell by the artwork when I show you. But the thing is the back of the book has Sesame Street on it, which that was at the very least in the 70s. So this could be 70s or 80s. So Santa's Toy Shop. I might have said workshop. And this is a Walt Disney book, so it just says illustrations by Walt Disney Studio because they never give credit to any of their artists. Ah, yeah, it said that it was from 1950. So this is a recreation of a 1950s book. And it's just really cool artwork. So you got Santa and getting ready for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. You got your reindeers. So again, another book with super cool artwork in it, which is mostly what I like to get. Then a really good find, and it doesn't happen all the time, but a coloring book from 1967, I believe, that is for the night before Christmas. I always want to say the nightmare before Christmas. The night before Christmas, and it's unused. So always nice when you can find a coloring book that old that is unused. Or, wait, no, I think one page is used. Yes, the first page is used and there's a name in it. But the rest of the book, completely blank. So the kid gave up. Like maybe it was Christmas Day when the kid got it and they're like, nah, I'm gonna go play with my toys. And then they didn't color, and then they left grandma's house and never used a coloring book again. I don't know, that's a scenario I just made up in my head, but here's the illustration. Who did the artwork in it? Does it say? Does not. But yeah, from 1967. And then another book from the 80s. A lot of 80s books today. This one is called The Biggest, Most Beautiful Christmas Tree. So this book is written and illustrated by Amy Rosenberg. And it's about a family that lives in a big old tree in the forest. And they're getting ready for Christmas, or they said it's. I read the book, and it actually is like they celebrate the tree, but they feel like the tree is sad when Christmas comes because it doesn't get to fulfill its Christmas thing. I don't know. So they decide to decorate it and make the tree happy. And this one has a green back cover. I don't see that very often. And then another 1981 book, which is also a reprint of an older story. It's a large version of this story, Frosty the Snowman, which I also want to say is from the 1940s or 1950s. It was illustrated by Corinne Malvern, and she draws the kids very well, and then Frosty turns out to be, I don't know, he just looks a little evil in this. Like, if you were to, it's like one of those things where if it was a movie, if you change the music, it would very easily pass off as like an evil demon. But this is Frosty, so no. It's still really cool though too. I actually like the fact that the feet are just kind of free-flowing and he actually walks on them. And it being a larger version is one that I haven't seen that often. And then here's a table you don't get to see very often, but this is where I keep my vintage prints. One that I sold today is from 1947 and I just called it Rooster Scratching. I'm not really sure how else to describe that because that's the picture. So this is from 1947. And again, with the 1980s, I got a action figure that I sold. I think it's an action figure. I mean, like, would this be an action figure or maybe a figurine? Yeah, a figurine. I don't know. It's a little PVC figure, and it's very meta because it's Mickey Mouse talking on a Mickey Mouse phone. That's actually kind of cool. But it's a tiny little figurine. Wonder how close I can get him. It's still too blurry. There we go. Talking on a Mickey Mouse phone. That's pretty awesome right there. Then from 1991, finally moving up a decade, I have this version of the classic bingo game. So it's got the cards, the chips, the little placeholders. I forget what they're called now all of a sudden. But yeah, so somebody wanted to have a bingo game. And then finally, one last thing is something that I sold as a lot because I didn't really want to go through each one of them. And they were fairly cool, but I thought they'd be more appealing altogether. And it's this bag of plastic animals. So got a bunch of plastic animals in here. Tigers, lions, bears. Some of them are from like this Noah's Ark play set. And then others are just ones that we've collected. And sometimes I would use them to fill in where we needed plastic animals for some of the games, but it's few and far between. And I kind of just wanted to see if somebody'd be interested in the whole thing of animals. So there you go, some pretend play animals for you. And that's all I got from the stuff that I sold today.